Jeremy says, we've heard a lot of crazy stories about Tony on the road with Jim Crockett and WCW, but what's the craziest story Tony has from being on the road calling baseball, football, or basketball?
Well, first of all, football and basketball, I travel with college teams, so there's nothing crazy really going on there. It's pretty structured. I'm not going to say when it happened, but this was back before wrestling days. Okay. I'm not going to say what team I was with. I'm not going to say where it was. It was back in the 80s, and there was, we were at this place doing a baseball game, and our team was taking batting practice, and I noticed this girl up in the stands watching batting practice by herself. She was a very attractive young lady, and she was talking to she would come down and she would stand along the netting there, and she would talk to the guys as they were going back and forth. And I just remember how pretty she was. Later that night, one of the players says, "I need to show you something." And so I said, okay. And now remember, we're talking about early 80s. I was a newlywed, and we were in this motel with doors on the outside, and they walked me, opened the door, and this girl was in there, and she was getting gangbanged by the players. And she looked like she was enjoying it. And it was first time I had ever seen or witnessed anything like that. And I went, "Oh my God." And all the players kind of looked and giggled at me. And one of the players says, "You want to join in?" And I said, "No, I don't. Thank you very much." That was the craziest thing that ever happened to me I'd ever seen.
Tree, here's a good one. RJ wants to know, if you were offered to call one of the following and you could only choose one, what would you pick and why? WrestleMania, the Super Bowl, or a World Series game?
World Series game. Because a WrestleMania, I would have Vince in my ear, and I would want to kill myself halfway through it. Maybe first match in. Super Bowl, I don't want to go to that clusterfuck of event. The World Series, God, I've always wanted to, and I've been to World Series games, but I've always wanted to call a World Series game.
KSJ49 wants to know, does Ronald Acuna Jr. have a low-key big hog?
Never saw it, but if you're making, if you sign a contract for $100 million, you can have any kind of hog you want.
Michael Anderson wants to know, who was on Tony's NWA/WCW Mount Rushmore? Now you mentioned 3 earlier, so we'll remind everybody: Hulk Hogan, Ric Flair, and Sting. Who would round it out? Who would get that 4th spot?
And if we're going back to NWA days, and I guess I can go back to when I was a fan, it's got to be Ricky Steamboat's got to be on there.
Nah, you need to fuck off with that. You made a whole list without Dusty Rhodes.
Well, hang on. I was.
There's 4 on Mount Rushmore.
Oh, I thought there's 5 on Mount Rushmore.
Well, today there's 4.
Okay, there's Dusty Rhodes in.
Did you really think there's 5?
I thought there was 5. Yeah,
that's just 4.